So, it looks like someone's been following your advice this week.
Yes, you need to check on the statistics for the channel to find out what percentage saw last week's video in Washington. Because I can think of at least two people who might have. One, Uncle Joe, because Uncle Joe said on Wednesday that it wasn't so, just like I told him last week. Say it isn't so, Joe, and this week he did. So that's good. And Paul Ryan, last week they were saying how he didn't really want to be speaker because he wanted to stay home and do algebra homework with his daughters. And I said, I had to call bull hockey on that. He wants to be Speaker of the House. He just wants to be Speaker of the House on his own terms.
Right.
And apparently now we know that too. So I'm just saying, the media, MSNBC, Fox, CNN, all those folks, all their talking heads, they had us all going. I mean, they were like literally, it's like, get on the edge of your seat, because here's the pig and here's the poke, and we're going to put the pig in the poke and we're going to sell it to you, and we're going to tell you that come this week, this strategic week in October of 2015, Biden may or may not get into the race. Really? Didn't everybody using their brain cells really know that Joe Biden did not want to leave the political stage after over 40 years as a loser?
Some of us.
So they had us on the edge of our seats. I was actually sitting there on Monday. I was like, I had lunch with friends saying, you need to be still because he actually might, No, they sold us the pig in the poke. I don't even know what a poke is. But anyway, that's what they sold us. And then Paul Ryan, he's looking at how he can negotiate. He doesn't want to be Speaker of the House unless he can determine the circumstances of what that's going to look like. He doesn't want to walk into the same ring of fire with its burning flames which have turned John Boehner completely orange. And I can't blame Paul Ryan for wanting to have some control before he ever actually takes that position. But that was what we thought it should be. He wants to be Speaker.
Yes.
Now Hillary, after she came off of the good debate last week, and then they were like, oh, but this week she has to face the Joe Biden decision, and she's got to face those Benghazi Republican committee members, stay tuned. Well, she dispatched the debate last week. I'm not saying she dispatched Joe Biden, but, I don't think she was particularly concerned as to whether or not Joe Biden was going to end up coming in second or third to her, because that was really the only question that was going to be there if he got into the race. And then as far as Benghazi, I watched some of it this morning. I didn't watch all of it. I didn't watch any of it after lunch. So if they have actually come to bloodshed up there, we don't know it as we're taping this. But unless I miss my guess, they didn't.
Well, you saw the lady with the email
stack,
right?
She brought props. She brought the stack. These were your 2011. These were your 2012. Why were you more interested in 2011 than you were in 2012? And Hillary was like, well, I don't do all my business on email. Well, no, I understand that. Hillary's older than I am. We know how to pick up a phone. It was just silly. And I felt like watching that committee hearing today. You just sat there and you watched Hillary as she talked to the Republicans, and the Republicans were trying to find an end, and then you would just kind of almost could see the look of horror when they realized that they were going after someone who had 50 IQ points on them. And then they just kind of rolled a little bit back, which,
It's true.
just true. And then the Democrats, who I don't necessarily say are any more intelligent or less intelligent than their Republican counterparts. But what I will say is that the Democrats just basically, they were just like throwing her softballs. Now, Hillary, you did do everything you could do, didn't you? Yes, and you didn't do anything illegal, did you, Hillary? Oh, well, that's good. Would you like to take my remaining time and tell us a nursery story? I mean, it was so, the Democrats were just so soft, and the Republicans, it was just so. And so I was like going, okay, well, Hillary, you know, in the last week, you did the debate, Joe's out of the race, Benghazi, that's, you know, there's no there, like we've said all along. And so the media, now, here we are, it's the end of another week. What are they going to talk about next week? Because I'm on the edge of my chair. It's, you know, the frame of the chair is pushing into places that I don't want it to push into because it's a little uncomfortable. I need to be on the back of my chair. So what you going to tell me? Are you going to tell me that now there's a whole draft John Kerry movement? You going to try maybe drafting Mitt Romney again? You want to try drafting Al Gore?
Newt Gingrich is speaker.
You want to try to bring him back? Jimmy Carter's not dead yet. Y'all could go get him for a second term. I mean, what are you going to do? What pig are you putting in what poke to try to tell me to keep on the edge of this chair? Because you know what? This is one who, after having almost shelled out some money, is just basically moving firmly back to a fully reclining seat because y'all got nothing. We're starting the week next week with no news. The Republicans still don't have a presidential candidate to put forward. The Democrats still have Hillary. Paul Ryan is still trying to figure out how to be Speaker of the House. John Boehner wants out and can't get out. And nothing has really changed. Except back where I'm supposed to be.